Good evening and welcome to the Standing Committee on Teaching, wrong committee, Finance, Operations, and Governance, being held today, October 6th at 5 p.m. And I will ask the clerk to first call the roll.
Vice Chair Biancaria, Member Johnson.
Here.
Member Roy.
Here.
Chairperson McCullough.
Here. The first item of business tonight is GB 2-92.15.
Excuse me, Madam Chairperson.
Yes.
Never mind.
Oh, thank you for checking.
There's somebody there, but no, the hand is
Okay,
not raised.
thank you. I appreciate you checking that. Response from administration, facilities report, requested the administration provide quarterly reports regarding building maintenance to include timeframes on when work will begin and concluded. So I'll open that up to administration. Mr. Ikonen?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm just trying to. Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to start with the finance and for the quarter report for the Q1. I want to start up with the staffing levels. Presently, we have 163 custodial staff filled and 1 vacant position. We've added 2 since I've submitted the information to you earlier. As far as maintenance staff, we have 15 positions filled. We have added 2 since Q4 school year 25, and we have 4 positions posted in the school spring presently. We've had the ability to fill a locksmith and a plumber, we're looking to at a electrician, a steam fitter plumber, an HVAC tech, and a carpenter. Those positions have been on school spring for a couple of weeks now, and we have some decent candidates that we're going to be interviewing over the next couple of weeks. Next, facilities leadership. Unfortunately, you do not see Mr. Ryan Hacker here. The Assistant Director of Facilities and of Capital Projects left to take another position in another district. We did add an Assistant Coordinator of Custodial Training and Supervision. This is a position that I have been looking forward to adding for a while. After I came and evaluated the training procedures for our custodians, I thought it was needed some help. And not that it had not been working, it's just I think we could do it better by implementing this. This person has been here about a week now. They've hit the ground running. Right now we're in the middle of creating a custodial handbook, so that'll be forthcoming in the future reports. Operation Hero. We continue to meet the superintendent's goal, aim number 3, by responding to and completing and developing an action plan of 100% of high priority projects within 72 hours. It is our goal of the facilities department to reduce the backlog of outstanding work orders and ensure timely and efficient resolutions and work orders. I can tell you, I'm happy and proud to say that we have been working on that, and I feel, have been making progress. Since the start of this quarter, July 1, we've completed 617 work orders. We've added 1,128 work orders, and leaving us a total of 968. Of that 968, 457 of them outstanding backlog, and we are making strides in that. Our locksmith has closed 72 work orders in 1 week. So we're making some significant progress towards our goal. Maintenance projects over the summer. We've had a very long summer working on these. We've created safe areas and dividers and sales programs at Gates Lane, Forest Grove, and Roosevelt. Gates Lane was five rooms specifically that were quite extensive. And then Forest Grove was and I can see that I've added this to below too, was a complete renovation of a special education room. We added a safe area. We removed countertops, sinks, and replaced and added a safe area, a door, a locking system for a door, which I'm still waiting on. It should be in this week. Doors and bathrooms at Worcester East Middle. I'm going to get more into that in a minute. Pre-K classroom at Goddard, which is brand new. Dr. Allen brought me in late spring, early summer, and we did a complete renovation of the basement to add a pre-K program in the basement. It was a total of 3 rooms, so that was very exciting to do. The window repair at Union Hill, I don't know if you remember, we had an incident where a window fell out of the jamb. We have fixed that. It was a insulation, we had some issues that we had to replace stops in those windows that had been taken out over the years. Those have all been fixed. Mentioned that. The casework at South High, recall a year ago we had a significant leak at South that has all been replaced this year in late June, early July. Happy about that. And then we did the various painting. We did completely paint three entire buildings this year, so we're pretty proud of that. And we're continue to work on other buildings. We've had significant electrical upgrades and lighting, plugs and so forth that have been, and wirings that have been torn out of walls and so forth, as well as plumbing upgrades. We did replace 6 water heaters this summer, with the help of the new plumber who came on in mid-August. Here is a picture of East Middle. This is referring to the front doors. The 3 front doors, or I should say 6 front doors on the front of this building, have been totally renovated or refurbished. That means we took the glazing out because it was hot, meaning that there was hazardous material inside the glazing. The lead paint had to be remediated, and those have all been stripped and repainted, and there's new hardware on the way. These doors are about 600 pounds a piece, which requires significant upgrade in the hardware, and that's forthcoming. Jacob Hyatt, I have the pleasure to say that Mr. Ryan Hacker and I did the first Worcester Public Schools renovation of a playground at Jacob Hyatt. Pretty happy with this. It has both the not the middle school, but the higher level and lower level ages represented. And I can tell you that I was there when they were putting down this surface. It's a beautiful surface. It's like walking on a cloud, to be honest with you. We're working with nutrition to install new Crestcore ovens at Worcester East Middle, Mill Swan, Millbury, Union Hill, and dual language. We're going to continue to work with them on additional projects in the future very closely, so that's exciting as well. Environmental health and safety. We had part of our trainings, this happened before, but we are conducting custodial training on it as we're supposed to on an annual basis, but we're making a more formalized process. This year we conducted a program, one with 120 custodians in late June. We had another one in August, mid-August, on August 14th. And then we have another one for the remaining staff that was not on site or were absent, and all new staff. And they will be taking a 2-hour Department of Labor and Standard asbestos training. Then we'll be doing bloodborne pathogens, mold identification, hazard communication. This is something that we have felt that has been needing some assistance. So we're going to be doing this on a regular basis. We are formalizing that, like I said, to be more applicable and effective. District water testing. There is no water testing this fall, so only thing that we'll be doing is new fixtures. We're going to be replacing a number of water fountains over the next several weeks, so those will be tested, but nothing formalized. Environmental Management Committee. This is to increase the communications regarding the items that we just talked about through the other staff other than the facilities. We had a kickoff meeting in late spring. We have the next one in late fall. That date has not been determined. We're waiting on schedules and so forth. MSBA updates. I can tell you, I'm happy to say that the field house and field at Doherty has been completed. We're doing punch list and commissioning is ongoing. Working with them on this, so it's been exciting to watch that happen. We are in the owner's project management search for Burncoat High School. We had a meeting on Thursday of last week, Wednesday or Thursday of last week. We had over 30 participants. Some of those were architects, some of those were, but most of them were potential owner project managers. On August 14th, Mrs. Consalvo and I walked with the MSBA to look at the accelerated repair programs that we have submitted at Rice Square for a roof and windows replacement, and one at the Belmont Community School for a total roof replacement. We will not know until the end of October if we've been invited into the program. Somewhere around October 29th is when the executive board will be meeting for that. Capital projects update. Happy to say that the master plan was submitted, and we should have which is a joint venture with public facilities. We are looking at approximately 4 million square feet that we're addressing. We're identifying, this is going to help identify facility priorities, site-specific plans, and integrate energy savings and maintenance. The bid will be open on October 22nd. Archibus software. This is to track and analyze the facility usage. This is 4 million of our square footage of our property. We're going to use this to determine effective usage of space and support future planning of school district. And I am going to go through just pictures of the capital projects that we've been working on. I'm happy to say that this picture was taken at 5 o'clock in the morning. We had the vendor called me up late evening and said that we're going to be here at 8 o'clock and we'll be doing this overnight, so I showed up early. And these are pictures of freshly thermoplastic lines at Roosevelt. The one on the left is one of the drop-off pickup areas where the loop is. The picture on the right is a speed table. That is the demarcation line for where the buses will be on the opposite side of that, and to the front of that where the cones are is where the parent loop will be for pickup and drop off. Here are just more lines. The one on the left is the Crafton Street entrance. The one on the middle is the existing teachers parking spot that we just redid, and then the one on the right is the new parking spaces that added approximately 40 spaces. And this is what it looks like when it's filled. So this was the next day. So pretty excited about that. East Middle, the Worcester East Middle Windows project. I'm not going to say we're ahead of schedule, but we hit 3 sides of the building where we're expected to do the A and B, and A is the front, and B would be the Dorchester side. I hope I said the right street because I'm not, so I'm still learning. We did the A, B, and C, which is the Arthur side, and then one of the first levels of an interior. So we're making progress on that. We have a meeting next week. We had a meeting last week, I should say, about the exterior doors. Those will be going in over the next 4 to 6 months on breaks. So we're working on that. And then the final stage of window replacement on the flower side and the interior will be done next summer. Worcester Tech High, we did the garage renovations finally. It took us 3 years to get it done, but we finally got it. As you know, on the left, you can see the center was where we had incredible deterioration of the concrete. That has been fixed. On the right is a new caulking down the rear wall, so that to prevent water from going into the basement level of the garage. Here we see a new drainage system as well as the plumbing underneath. Here is a new entrance into the gymnasium and the renovated staircases, which really, I use the word renovation, but really was just taking the nose of the treads and replacing those pieces all the way up. Here is Thorndike School. street school. This is a ADA upgrade that's worked through the city. On the left is the cafeteria, and on the right is the multipurpose room. And in the far distance, on that left-hand side of that multipurpose room, you can see that little room. That will be where the elevator shaft is going to be, or elevator is going to be. Here we've replaced all the floors on this, touched up the paint and so forth, but this was in preparation for that major upgrade with the elevator. Here is the sprinklers. On the left is the sprinklers on the first floor, and the right is what will be the head of the sprinkler system in the basement. Here is the back of the building. The left shows the work site. The right shows where the elevator shaft will be. You can see it with the rebar and the orange caps. That's going to be where it's going to be. Here is the front of the building, the new ADA ramp. And I take two pictures. One, because this ramp is pitched towards the building, and we had to put in we had to put a trench drain in front of the door. We were finding that we were getting water into the building, so the architect and designer called for a trench drain. We put that in last weekend. Here is Lincoln Street. On the left is the mechanical elevator shaft room that's still in progress, and on the right is the temporary, well, it's not the temporary, it's going to be the final space for the cafeteria. It's just not finished yet. There's going to be a floor and more aesthetically pleasing colors. Challenge and Reach and Gerald Kramer Center have been a minor in respect to Thorndike and Lincoln Street. Here they did the ADA upgrades of stair modifications, handrails, thresholds, bathroom partitions, and new door hardware. I've just showed you a picture of what the staircase look like. This is specifically at the Challenge and Reach Center. And finally, it's Thorndike, and I apologize, it's the Fanning building. This is a new ramp at the back of the building behind the gym. This has been completed, and the fence is gone now, and the railings are up, and there'll be new doors coming in the fall. Any questions?
Thank you so much. So many good things going on. It's always great to see. I mean, I know sometimes people might not think of these things as being exciting, but they really are, especially with the age of some of our buildings and the amount of work that needs to occur. Just a few things. Great to see that so many of those specialized positions are getting filled. Like just your example alone of the locksmith being able to complete that backlog of jobs is fantastic. I know personally I appreciate, and I've said it before, but it's worth saying again, anytime I've reached out to facilities about anything, everyone has been extremely responsive and helpful. And I really appreciate that, because that makes a big difference, when you're trying to liaise for the schools, to be able to have that communication. So really appreciate that. I'm glad you brought up the elevator at Thorndike Road, because a neighbor did reach out to me about that the other day, about what's this equipment? And I said, I have a feeling it's probably for the elevator that's going in. So I'm glad to have that confirmed. So really appreciate that. The positions that you mentioned, and of course, would love to thank Mr. Hacker for all his work and wish him well in his new position. And you mentioned the new assistant custodial supervisor position, which I think is fantastic. I agree with you. The more support we can have, the better. And that handbook sounds fantastic. As far as Mr. Hacker's position, is that currently being hired for, or how will that look? Or is that still in question right now through administration?
Through the chair, we have established a new job description for that. It will not be an assistant director's level. It'll be a capital projects manager / coordinator. And the reason why I say manager / coordinator is because in the industry, we don't have the same nomenclature. So we have it at a different level, so we can attract the best possible candidate for that. This is something that Mr. Hacker and I discussed, and it was his idea to bring it to this level so he could bring in a good candidate.
Great. Thank you so much. And as a graduate of Jacob Hyatt, I'm happy to see that there's actually some sort of playground there, because my experience was playing foursquare on the concrete, and that was about the extent of my playground back in the day. So I don't think I really have any other questions. Excited to see what the master plan has to do. I'm sure if Member B and Carrie were here, she'd praise the work at Worcester East Middle and Roosevelt. Those are two long-term projects that really appreciate that. And even just looking at those pictures from Worcester East, what a difference that makes. And certainly, we know it's one of our oldest buildings and has some of our more significant challenges, but for students and staff to be able to walk into that building with those new windows, it definitely makes a difference and gives good curb appeal for people driving by. So thanks again for all of that. I will open up. Member Johnson, any comments or questions?
Yes, thank you. Through the chair to administration, thanks for the report. It's great to see all the great things that are being done. Hopefully, everyone's happy at Thorndike and East Middle and all those other, especially Roosevelt with the new parking lot. That is great to see. I can't wait to see the master plan as well, to kind of see where we are with that. I do have two questions, though, that I'm just wondering if you have the answer. If not, maybe you could get it to me or get it to us in regards to that. I had reached out last year regarding May Street School in the gymnasium. Tons of cracks, whatever. I know someone had gone out there and taken a look, just wondering kind of what's going on with that. Then my next question through the chair to administration is, any conversations, and it could be on the master plan, I don't know this yet, in regards to Forest Grove's parking lot, that back part of the school. I don't know if you guys have been back there, but disaster. But those would be my two questions I have.
Through the chair, we have engaged with a contractor to do a preliminary look at May Street, and we did a test site with a product, and we felt it came out well. So we have engaged with the same contractor to fulfill and to fill all the cracks. Obviously, we can't do it during school, so we're working with that vendor to work on a long weekend or during a break. More likely now would be winter break. And then what we're going to do after that is paint the entire floor and put new basketball court lines and so forth on that. So we are engaged in that. That's actively being pursued at this point. So we just need to create a schedule for that. As far as Forest Grove and the parking lot, that is one of many of my targets. It's not the worst, it's not the best, but yes, it's on our to-do list. There are some other ones that have sort of significant sinkholes in them that we're going to address immediately, but I do agree with you that there are significant issues at that school and parking lot as well, so we are looking at that.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Member Roy, any questions or comments?
I have comments. I'm really excited to hear all this progress, and I'm very much looking forward to see what the future holds. Highly impressed with what's been able to get done in a short period of time. I'm really impressed. And from my 11 schools, I've heard nothing. So that means it's a good thing. If I hear anything, I have no problems reaching out to facilities. I think they do a great job. And I can't thank you enough for this detailed report, and look forward to see what the future holds. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you. Then the motion on that would be to approve and hold. Could the clerk call the roll, please?
Vice Chair Biancaria, Member Johnson?
Yes.
Member Roy?
Yes.
Chairperson McCullough?
Yes. So I know Member Biancaria is going to be joining us shortly. Perhaps while we have Member Roy on still, if we could go to the item for Haas, which is, it's approval of grants finance items on Jean Haas to accept the donation in the amount of $500,000 from the Jean Haas Foundation to Worcester Technical High School through the Worcester Educational Development Fund to be used for renovations and remodeling of the advanced manufacturing space to be named the Jean Haas Center for Advanced Manufacturing for a period of 12 years. And what we do have here is there had been a prior meeting, but after review, it needed to be a public meeting. So that was put to the public, and I will open it up to Mr. Foley on any comments on that, and then we can take a vote on that item, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through the chair, on September 24th, a meeting of the Worcester Technical High School naming committee was held to accept the donation in the amount of $500,000 from the Gene Haas Foundation to Worcester Technical High School through the Worcester Educational Development Foundation to be used for renovations and remodeling of the advanced manufacturing space to be named the Gene Haas Center for Advanced Manufacturing for a period of 12 years. On a roll call vote, the item was approved unanimously, 7-0. Additionally, a motion was made to apprise the full school committee of the action and recommendation of the Worcester Technical High School Naming Committee. On a roll call vote, that was also approved, 7-0 unanimous.
Thank you. I have no questions or comments about this. Do you, Member Johnson? No. Member Roy, any questions or comments?
No.
All right, so then the motion would be to approve the recommendation of the naming committee to accept the grant along with the naming rights that go along with it. So I will ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Vice Chair Biancaria, Member Johnson.
Yes.
Member Roy,
Yes.
Chairperson McCullough.
Yes, and we will just give it 1 or 2 more minutes until Member Biancaria joins us, and we'll begin on the next item. I don't know if we can start on GB 4-73 if administration wants to go over to review the status of the FY25 budget and make appropriate transfers as required. We can begin there and go from there.
Sure. So through the chair, this is the final report of expenditures through the end of the FY25 fiscal year, which occurred on June 30th. The FY25 fiscal year included $7.5 million of the city manager's recommendation of free cash. The district was able to purchase elementary science, secondary math textbooks, and accelerate the recommendations of the school safety audit and enhance instructional technology infrastructure, among the other items noted in the report. The district closed the fiscal year with a remaining balance of $5,874. A few accounts to note is the paraeducator salary line includes a vacancy savings higher than we anticipated, as well as the ability to utilize some additional grant funds for the final close. For the non-instructional account, after the final reconciliation of expenditures, grant funds were applied to some instructional costs in lieu of using the non-instructional account. Transportation salaries included increase of routes, and the district covered sponsored field trips that occurred this spring. For the transportation non-salary account, the final amount uses a partial use of the one-time emergency funds that were available to close the fiscal year. The remaining funds will be utilized during this fiscal year. For the tuition account, the district is seeing students staying in our programs as opposed to moving to out-of-district placements. For the instructional material account, includes additional curriculum as well as some special education adaptive technology that we were able to purchase for our students. Miscellaneous educational account includes the purchase of student Chromebooks and iPads that enabled the district to receive and deploy the devices prior to the start of school year, which were concentrated on the middle schools. For the utility account, the deficit includes expenditures for Doherty High electricity due to the solar panels not being connected through the first school year. Connection should have occurred at the end of September, but we're still waiting for confirmation from National Grid. Lastly, the facility's ordinary maintenance account balance included several identified projects which encountered procurement and supply chain issues. So we were aware of these issues and reallocated funds to close the fiscal year and enable the district to purchase the student technology and additional curriculum. That is a high-level overview of the report. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you. And just looking through here, I mean, I think it's pretty standard what we typically see for the end of the year account summary and transfers with the explanations of why, accounts may have gone up or down or where there's variability and where the transfers come from. Certainly, we know as we move forward that we're going to have even closer eyes on our budgets and where we may need to make things up if we're not getting the money from the federal government. So certainly appreciate all the work that's being done here. I don't have any specific questions on this at this time. Thank you again for the report, and I will open it up to Vice Chair Biancaria. And this is a mute button now. It's new. Yeah.
Transportation shows a minus. So I was wondering how we were working that, if you could explain that a little.
Sure. For the salary line item or OM?
540103?
Sure. So for that one, we received some emergency homeless reimbursement funds that we're using for 70 transportation. Those funds didn't necessarily have to be used by June 30th. So we closed the fiscal year with a partial use of those funds, and we're hoping to use them for this fiscal year.
Okay, so when we look at that, it doesn't stay in that dollar amount. You feel as though we would be using those funds as we move forward?
So we are seeing a higher enrollment for homeless transportation for our students. We do have our 70 transit vans that are in use. The last time we had checked, I think we have about 14 or 15 drivers still looking to get up to our 40 that we have. But I can certainly double check on that for you as well.
Once you double check, if you could let us know, that'd be fine. We don't have to wait till the next meeting. Apparently you can send an email to us, that's fine.
I can put it in the weekly report through the chair.
And then instructional materials. How are we doing?
So for that line item through the chair, we were able to purchase Chromebooks using some year-end funds at the end of the year to ensure that they came through and delivered for the summer and were able to deploy before we received any increase of tariffs. So we moved forward with that purchase,
I see. And
along
then-
with iPads through the chair,
I'm sorry?
along with some iPads through the chair.
Okay. Sorry, taking a note there. And then last, building utilities.
So through the chair, that line item, we received estimated electricity invoices for Doherty High for the year, paying them accordingly. At the end of the year, we received a fairly significant bill that backed into the actual usage, and then the solar panels were not connected at the time. So that's the reason for building utilities deficit is solely the Doherty High.
So when we look at this, are the solar panels connected? Is that something you would know?
So through the
throwing that
chair,
out
they
there.
were supposed to be connected at the end of September, but we are still waiting for confirmation from National Grid.
And again, could you notify us on that, please? Because I know that was something that everyone was interested in as far as we did the solar panels, so let's see what the difference is going to be on that. Thank you for that information.
Sure.
Thank you. Member Johnson?
No question. Thank you for the report.
Member Roy?
I have no questions, and I want to thank you for this detailed report.
Thank you so much. So then the motion on this would be to approve, accept and file, because it is the FY25 budget final transfers. So if the clerk could call the roll?
Vice Chair Biancaria?
Yes.
Member Johnson?
Yes.
Member Roy?
Yes,
Chairperson McCullough?
Yes, and our final item today is GB 5-73 to explore the utilization of the one meeting platform for the Worcester School Committee to be in line with the shift of the Worcester City Council to this platform. So I know as far as the response here, the administration met with the city clerk to discuss using the one meeting platform for the Worcester School Committee to align with the Worcester City Council's shift to the system. The school committee does have a planned integration as part of the second phase of the one meeting launch following the city council boards. The system is currently being developed and the school committee will be notified prior to the transition. So at this time, that is the feedback, and what the anticipation is down the road, we will then be looped in with the city side to then work towards this utilization on our side. So the recommendation here is to accept and file at this time. I know that there's not someone here that necessarily is here to speak about that tonight because it's really more coming from the city side and that this was their response to us. So I will just ask administration to keep us in the loop with anything that is coming from the city side on that, and certainly bring us, if there's anything that needs to be brought to our attention, so that if another item needs to be filed, we do so. So does anyone else have any questions or comment yet? Member Biancaria? Vice Chair Biancaria?
Thank you. How does this ultimately affect what we do for our meetings? Does anyone present? Excuse me. How does this ultimately affect how we set up for our meetings and what we do?
So I can answer that.
Because it sounds
I can answer
as
that.
though it's we meet every 2 weeks. City council meets weekly.
Yep. This is just the software. This is just software to
So-
be used. The city has switched over to this platform. It's the one meeting platform. We had already been exploring, we can talk certainly with our clerk a little bit more at some point about this. We had been exploring platforms, and the city actually switched over to this one, and it is going to be integrated with the school committee side. So it's a way to search items, it's the way agendas and meetings are posted. It's not so much that it impacts our roles as much as it's just the software that's being utilized. It will be easier to go in, or theoretically, it will be easier to go in and, again, search through agendas and minutes and items to find different information. It's the way that things are posted out and are linked. So it will just be in line. We'll mirror the city, ideally, or essentially, if that's how this all works out with the second phase of utilizing that platform. So it's again, it's just basically software.
So it's software that does not affect how we set up our agenda, how we hold our meetings, when we hold our meetings. This is more of the research end of what we are doing.
It's
correct?
yes, correct. Through myself to member Biancaria, yes, that's exactly what it is. So it doesn't impact how we have meetings or anything like that. This is literally just, once we submit, our items to the clerk would utilize this software to then generate our agenda. We would still follow our type of process that we utilize based on the school committee rules. It's more so just that we're in line when somebody goes, like if a resident or whomever is looking online and wants to see something on our agenda and our minutes, it would be the similar search to how they would search on the city side now to find data and information. It doesn't change how we impact our meeting schedule or how we do anything as far as that goes.
We should communicate that very clearly to the public. I've had people approach me and ask about the one meeting launch, and their concern is, are we going to be meeting every week now, or how does this affect us? If we're not meeting every week, will we still be meeting every 2 weeks? So I think we need to communicate this out to the community as far as what effects it will have on the school committee. I'm not sure how administration would like to approach that, but I'm certainly, I know we would be open as a committee, I'm sure, to discuss some of the suggestions for this. But in order to make that type of a change with that wording, the name of the platform, I think, is a little confusing to some people. And I know even to myself, when I looked at it, my immediate thought was, how does this affect school committee members and what we do and how we put items on the agenda and so forth? And now that you've given me this explanation on materials and how it is going to go through the process, that's information that even school committee members have not received. So if we did receive it, then we need to receive it again.
Sure. No, so this was just the item I had filed when the city launched one meeting platform. I just asked that we looked into using the same platform so that we'd be consistent with them. It doesn't change anything about our meetings, but what I can ask is that administration work with the city when the second phase is coming up to get us more information at that time and provide it to the full school committee.
Absolutely. Along with the fact that we have to provide this, I'll put it in a motion form, that we not only receive the information as a school committee, direct on what we just discussed, but also reinform our community and our staff members that this is what we will be doing, this is how we will be doing it. I'm not directing on how that will occur. My motion is to ensure that we communicate all of this to the community and to our staff, so everyone is aware of how that works, because I know some people do actually track what we have for standing committees and school committee meetings, and I don't want them to be concerned with how they approach it.
Absolutely. All right.
But I think it's interesting. Do we have a time frame on this particular issue at this point in time?
At this point, the city is going to let us know when the second phase is, and they'll provide us with more information about that because it's under the umbrella of the city side.
So we don't actually have by December this will occur, by January this will occur?
No, correct.
Okay. Okay, perhaps I'll make a motion that then that we look at we get a timeline from the city in reference to this, so we can be better prepared for it.
Absolutely. Member
Thank
Johnson?
you
Oh, you're
very
welcome.
much
Yeah, of
for
course.
the information.
Member Johnson?
No questions.
Member Roy?
I have no questions.
Okay, so then the motion would be to accept and file, but with Member Biancarria's two motions. One, that when we do have a timeline from the city, that timeline be provided both to the school committee, but also so that the community is aware. So that would be, I think we'd say tie back in with the Worcester Public Schools Communications Department to communicate any pertinent information around that. But also to make sure that the other motion was to make sure employees and the community also know beyond that what the timeline is for that phase two. So I think those are things that we have to, certainly ask the city to provide us at that time, and perhaps we can get that in a Friday letter, if that would be agreeable. All right, so then the
In
motion,
the additional information on what it
Yes,
actually is.
correct,
What you
sorry.
said this evening is great, except for, I think we should have it in writing so we know what we're looking forward to.
absolutely, so then that part of that motion, sorry, I apologize, is to also make sure we have the explanation of what the one meeting platform is that the city is currently
Yes.
using.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
you.
All right, so the motion is to accept and file with Member Biancarria's motions. If the clerk could call the roll, please.
Vice Chair Biancaria?
Yes.
Member Johnson?
Yes.
Member Roy?
Yes.
Chairperson McCullough?
Yes, and now excuse me, Madam Clerk, if you wouldn't mind calling the roll to adjourn since we have a virtual attendee, please.
Vice Chair Biancaria?
Yes.
Member Johnson?
Yes.
Member Roy?
Yes.
Chairperson McCullough?
Yes.